What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Coach, come to you live from the living room slash kitchen. Today, Swoop Boys gave me some faith, had some faith in me, and gave me my own little podcast, bro. So would like to welcome everybody to Coach's Corner. All right. What Coach's Corner is going to be is basically we'll do a recap of the previous Eagles game, go into the little X's, O's, trends, as well as look at stats, look at upcoming opponents as far as what potentially we could get into, but as well throw y'all some of that knowledge as far as understanding the game. So when you're sitting back at the crib and you're Monday night quarterbacking because Jalen didn't do something you didn't want him to do, or Miles Sanders just happened to have a bad game, at least you can make a cognitive decision when it comes to the information you put out there on your social media page, instead of you being out there reckless, sounding like a fool and uneducated because, you're a Madden champ and you're a connected franchise, but really don't understand the gist of the game. So just to piggyback off of some of the stuff that happened from the Monday night game, Philadelphia Eagles took on the Minnesota Vikings with the final score being 24-7, with the Eagles going 2-0 as we enter week 3, and Minnesota will be 1-1 as they enter week 3 as well. So, as you saw, Jalen Hurts had a 333 yards passing. Miles Sanders rushed for 80 yards. Dallas Goedert had 82 yards receiving. TJ Edwards with 10 tackles, and Darius Slay had 2 interceptions as far as your highs. All right. So that's your information as far from that Monday night game. Now, the biggest thing from what we saw, which was an upgrade compared to the Detroit game, was Jonathan Gallen utilizing his defense in various ways and showing different fronts. So what I would like to do is break down a couple of those coverages just so y'all can kind of understand. And then we're going to get into some film from that Monday night game and show you how Gannon was able to show those different looks and how it affected Kirk Cousins' thought process. So Gannon ran a couple of schemes, cover 1, cover 2, cover 3. He ran a box defense as well as cover 0 a couple times, which I'm a fan of cover 0 because that means we're blitzing. So Gannon finally listened up. He started seeing some heat. And then, we got a couple of cover 4s or quarters is what we'll call it. But I'm starting to notice a trend. The Eagles are running a lot of quarter style defense. So there's pros and cons to it. We got the personnel to run it, but the right team can kind of play against it. But with our defense the way it is, I don't think Gannon is going to be stagnant. I think he's going to constantly keep switching up the defense and giving so many different variations and looks that offensive coordinators are going to have the difficult time to kind of scheme against how to attack our defense. So the first scheme I'm going to go over as far as in these coverages is going to be a cover 2. A cover 2 is basically going to be you're having 2 safety highs. This is kind of a safe zone in a sense. It doesn't require a lot of your players to move. Allows your front 4 to go ahead and pursue the quarterback in a sense as far as pass rush, passing the quarter, pass rush, or be able to play the run game. And on top of that, it allows your corners to play the flats or what we call the short routes. And then your middle linebackers basically have middle coverage as far as playing whatever is in front of them. It's kind of, like I said, it's a safe style defense. It's kind of, I won't say vanilla, but it's normally a safe bet if you're trying to get a feel of what the opposing offense is going to do. All right. Outside of the cover 2 zone, though, you have what's called cover 2 man, where it's still kind of that same concept. You have 2 safeties basically splitting the field in half, but now your DBs and linebackers are actually going to be playing a man-up defense. So your corners, your linebackers, they're going to have somebody they're responsible for. Meanwhile, your safeties got deep coverage with the sole responsibility of nobody gets behind them. All right. Next one that I've saw a couple times in the Monday night game was Gannon. We did what's called a cover 3. So a cover three is basically you're going to have a single safety high. Both of your outside corners are going to basically split the field into thirds. So your left corner is going to have one third of the field. Safety got one third, and then your right corner is going to have thirds. And then your linebackers, your two outermost linebackers or outside linebacker and safety, it varies. Will have the flats basically covering up the short routes, and then your middle linebackers will have the middle. Now, I would say this in the game Monday, it looked like Marcus Epps did play the middle a little bit when we did go to the cover three zone. So Gannon is going to switch up how he utilizes his personnel when it comes to these different schemes that he's doing. And I think that's all going to be based on the personnel we're playing against. For this one, the main focus is basically how can we neutralize Minnesota's threat, which is going to be Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. And once we get into some film, I'm going to break that down on how Gannon had set that game plan up. Another defense the Eagles went over was going to be what's called a cover one. So what a cover one is you're going to have a single safety, basically covering anything deep. He's deep responsibility. Nobody gets behind him. And then that allows you to utilize everybody going man up to a certain aspect. And this was utilized a lot by the Eagles Monday night. Gannon did do a lot of cover one zone where he was able to utilize or double team Justin Jefferson to a certain aspect of it. And then the most popular scheme I've been seeing from Philly so far is going to be this quarters or this cover four. As you see in the diagram, basically your outside corners are basically going to have the outside deep. Your inside safeties, you're free, you're strong. They're basically going to split the deep zone of the defense into quarters. Everybody got a certain area aspect of it. And then that means your linebackers are going to have to widen and spread out a little bit thinner. This defense, in my opinion, is not ideal against a mobile style quarterback because you're forcing your linebackers to basically cover an area. And if a mobile quarterback's able to get out, now that linebacker has to make the decision of either playing somebody in that zone or stepping up and playing that quarterback that comes in that area. So, and then of course the last coverage is going to be what's called cover zero. Basically, there's nobody up top. There's no safety help. Every man for himself, meaning your safeties and your corners have not line responsibility, have a man there, and that's who they're responsible for. Majority of the time, if a team goes cover zero, they're normally sending at least 6 or 7, or majority of the time 7. All right, so that's the different schemes as far as what Jonathan Gannon had shown on the Monday night opener, as well as the Philly opener. So, all right. So the biggest takeaway from that Monday night game is how the coaches definitely game plan and stuck to a script, meaning the offense did a good job as far as Nick and Shane putting together a play calling scheme that made it easy for Jalen to make a quick decision and release that ball. So if we look at the stats from Monday night, the Eagles defense held Dalvin Cook to 17 yards total, which comes out to 2.8 yards per average. They kept Justin Jefferson to 48 yards with an 8-yard average. Kirk Cousins was 27 for 46, 221 yards, 3 interceptions, and 1 touchdown. So that's kind of a good trend where we want to be compared to last year, where you played Philly's defense. A lot of quarterbacks left playing the Eagles with a decent QBR. All right. So the coaches kind of understand they're playing to their players' strength and playing to their personnel. Now, like I said, we look at Philly. Jalen Hurts, he was 26 for 31, 333 yards. He had 1 passing touchdown, 2 rushing, and then he had 1 interception, where I'm going to kind of put a little asterisk on that one. That wasn't on Jalen. That's on Kenny G. Kenny G got snagged that ball, bring it on down. See, Miles Sanders, he had 80 yards rushing with an average of 4.7 yards per carry. Dallas Goedert had 82 yards receiving with an average of 16.4 yards per reception, and he had 5 receptions in that Monday night opener. Devontae Smith, 80 yards with an average of 11.4 yards per reception, and that was over 11 catches. And then you got A.J. Brown with 69 yards with an average of 13.8 per reception, and he had 5 receptions. And then, of course, you had Quez Watkins, who had the 54-yard touchdown when he was able to slip behind the safety. All right. So the biggest things that we're seeing and what goes into my next topic, Jalen's improvement as a quarterback. The progress he made from last year to this year has been in a uptrend, or his stock is kind of going up in a sense. So last year, Jalen normally took 3.12 seconds to release the ball, which that's kind of slow, especially if you're trying to hurry up, get the ball out, run upfield. That a numerous amount of things factored into that in and outs being shown. Jalen's decision making wasn't that good last year. The ability to read defense, that aspect of it. This year, he's improved to a certain extent to where he's releasing the ball at 2.86 seconds, which is kind of up there. He's ranked in the top 10 as far as the time to throw, which is kind of good. You look at you guys like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, they're about the 2.54 as far as time to throw or time to release. So Jalen, like in the offseason, we all heard him getting better as far as working out with TB12's QB guru, and then, taking notes from the man himself. So it looks like it's working, man. The system was broke. Jalen went back and tried to fix it up, and now we're kind of on a good trend right now. So I'm not mad at it. I won't say it's too early. First 2 games, we have been showing progress. Week 1, you kind of had that rust because everybody wasn't playing in the preseason. And then week 2 looked like Gannon is finally now playing his defense. He played, I won't say a shutout game, but it was good. He made the right calls when they were need to. And then, yeah, the Nick and Shane and Jalen are playing a pitch perfect game in a sense. There's a couple of things that we like Jalen said in that video. We left a lot out there on the field, but I'm not gonna get too pessimistic about this 24-7 victory that we had over Minnesota. All right. So what I would like to do is actually go and break down some of Jalen's things that he has improved in on. The biggest thing is Jalen's ability to make a decision, his ability to read the defense, all right, and then as well how he can be a game manager and not a liability. So there's a couple of plays that come to mind. The first one is going to be, if I can find it. The first one is going to be the play to Quez Watkins that was called back for I think it was a legal man downfield, or was it a holding? But that's the play I like as far as Jalen being Jalen. So let me share this. All right. So if we look at this play, we're in an empty set. All right. Looks like Minnesota's in a 5-man front. You have Eric Hendricks in the middle, and they send 4. Pocket kind of collapse. Jalen's able to roll to his left, and as you see, As Jalen gets the spacing, he flips his hips, square his chest up, squares his body, delivers a perfect shot to Quez Watkins as he's run out of bounds in time to go ahead and get 2 feet down. Once again, like I said, Jalen was not doing this last year. He looks a lot more comfortable in the pocket. He's not as quick to pull that trigger to escape. Jordan basically Mailata closes up the gap. Jalen uses his legs to extend the play. He has enough time to outrun these two guys. Squares himself up. Sees Quez right down the field. Hits him right in stride. Would have been a first down if the flag was never caught. So that's a good play. That's a good one in my opinion. The next one was Jalen's decision as far as reading the defense. His second touchdown, Jalen made a very great decision as far as understanding what the defense gave him and took advantage of that to his ability. Here you go. So this is that next one. Let's see what we got. We got somebody in the comments. Vic, what's good? So we look at this play right here. You're going to see Minnesota's going to kind of be in a man defense. What I mean by that is, if you look, everybody has a man. Harrison Smith is basically covering Goddard. Patrick Peterson is covering my fault, not a man. It's going to be a cover one. Patrick Peterson is going to have Devontae Smith, and then I can't remember who number 3 is, but he's guarding Zach Pascal. So if you see, everybody is covered. Dallas, Devontae, and Zach. And so what Jalen understands is, as he's rolling out, Harrison Smith got his back turned right now. Harrison Smith, Patrick Peterson, both have their back turned towards him. And the only person he got to beat is these two linebackers. So to the advantage, he's going to take what the defense gave him. That was a great decision that Jalen made. And then as well, he was able to get the touchdown. My only issue with that one was, we're lucky Jalen did not cough that ball up as he was fighting for them extra yards, because as you saw immediately, them boys got that arm in there trying to yank that ball out. All right. But once again, that's Jalen's ability to understand, diagnose what the defense is giving him, and then go. Look, RPO. DN comes, crash down on Miles Sanders. Secondary play would have probably been going to Dallas Goedert. And then in Miles, Avante is going to have this little burst corner on the outside. But like I said, both of these guys were covered. Jalen was able to use his legs and, put 7 up there on the board. So that's how these boys are able to be out here. Jalen is improved, man. I wasn't big on the Jalen, Hurts fan. I'm out here in Oklahoma, so I've seen him make some bad decisions when they had the alleged QB whisper out here with Lincoln Riley. But I did see some improvements. But as we said, this is Jalen Hurts' year, in a second year in the same system now. He understands the terminology. He understands the concept of the play calling. That's always going to be the biggest deal. You have to understand the concept of the play calling. Each play is designed for a certain reason. All right. So because the coaches want to basically make the read off of a certain key player, all right, or based off of the coverage the defense is giving them. If an offensive coordinator notices a team has been playing a cover 2 or a cover 3 a lot heavy, your play calling is going to favor certain routes because that's where they're going to be open at. And then that was bring me to another one as far as, the play calling. People saying Jalen don't have an arm, but if you look at this clip right here, he's threading the needle. And he's making the right plays, he's making the right throws. Like, he's doing everything people were doubting him to do. Once again, you got Minnesota showing a 5-man front. All right, if I'm correct, they're bailing the both DNs. So no, they send 5. Eric Hendricks is now basically covering. Probably, if I'm correct, they're in a cover 3. Jalen throws it right to AJ Brown in the gap. You got, who's that? Guy or Stool? Right there in the gap. Able to hit AJ in stride to at least get a couple more yards. All right. Jalen wasn't making those type of throws last year. Look how decisive he made that decision. All right. He's not worried. He's nice, comfortable, poised in the pocket. He gets rid of the ball super quick. Everybody know last year, Jalen is probably going to step out of the pocket, roll to the right, and then try and utilize his legs to extend the play and get a first down and panic. So Jalen's doing good, man. Rico, what's going on, man? Like I said, a lot of people are doubting Jalen Hurts right now. I'm kind of like, I wasn't a doubter, but I needed to see more from Jalen, and I've kind of seen enough to where I'm confident in this kid going up. Todd, what's going on, man? So, like I said, and this all goes back to Jalen being comfortable in the system for a second year. This goes back to Nick Sirianni allowing Shane Steichen to be the play caller. Shane is going to make the plays or call the right plays that are going to be to the strength of Jalen Hurts and to the point. And then what do I mean by that? You're going to see a couple of trends that the Eagles have been doing this past Monday night game that is becoming popular is another way of what's going another way as far as opening up your receivers. The first one is going to be, and you're going to see it in some of these play calling. Which one is it? All right. So if you look in this one, we're utilizing players to a certain aspect as far as opening up the field for each other. All right. This allows Jalen to make a simple read based off what the defense is doing, whether it's the defender bailing, defender, coming down and playing. So if you look in this set, we got Zach Pascal in the backfield, basically in a fullback or H flex position. What's that? Look like Boston Scott in the backfield, Devontae Smith at the bottom, and then that's Quez at the top. So as you're going to see, he fakes basically the middle run to Boston. Zach Pascal comes across underneath the O-line, and he's running a drag route. Now, the only negative I got on this play, Jalen got to keep his eyes up because as soon as Devontae cleared the safety and Patrick, he should have hit that right there in that spot. If y'all see right here, he should have released it. But you go back and look, that's not on Jalen, is it now? That's on Devontae. Got to get that head turned a lot quicker. As you're seeing, Jalen saw the zone or the gap in that zone open up, but Devontae never turned that head. Now, a lot of these routes are going to be timing routes, but if that receiver doesn't have that head turn, that's pointless in trying to throw it. And at the end of the day, this is with a 3rd and 2 play. So is that a smart decision to throw it to a receiver who head isn't turned? Not at all. He looks at Zach. Zach has the better advantage as far as the matchup. Right there to the sticks, get the first down. That's a good play. That is, like I said, that is good decision making, but that is a good play call on Shane Steichen as far as on what they're scheming up over there. And then what you're going to see from the Eagles a lot is a lot of these natural pick plays. They ran it very heavy during the Vikings game. Where is it? Where is it? I got all these videos labeled, But oh, all right, here we go. So in this first play right here, you're going to see, like I said, a natural pick play. What the concept is you want your route to run or cross into each other. Basically, have the defenders kind of get caught in that traffic, and then whichever man gets freed up, that's who you should be keying on. So on this one, I picked the wrong angle on this, but as you see, they send 4. All right. You had a delay rush, but you're going to see Devontae Smith come across from the left of the camera. He's setting a route to where he's basically want to kind of bump across whoever was going to be covering Dallas Goedert, but as well slowing that man up to step into that zone. If Devontae does his job right, like he did here, without contacting Patrick Peters, Dallas Goedert is now able to get that spacing, and look how much room he has now. That pick route is going to slow down this corner from getting back and recovering from that out route. Dallas Goedert now is going to have that spacing. He should have scored on this one because I got him on my fantasy, and I was kind of a little upset about that. But at the end of the day, that's Harrison Smith who laid a good tackle. Still to this day, I don't know why grown men are dropping their heads on these tackles. It's not how he coached, but oh well. It's a good little play right here, which was able to set us up for that Jalen Hurts touchdown. All right, here's another look at another pick play. This is another one. This is a better angle now. Different play. All right, RPO. Jalen's making a read. He's able to free up the not Hunter. He's able to free up the DN. All right, this is the one that got called back on. Now, as y'all see, Devontae Smith avoids the contact, allowing Dallas Goedert's man, that safety, to get tied up, hit Dallas. That would have been a first down. But I can see where the ref is coming from just because. But Devontae avoided the contact. It wasn't like he ran directly into him. Devontae avoided the contact. If you look at what Minnesota was running, they're running a cover 1 defense. All right. Harrison is covering the receiver. A.J. Brown's covered up. Patrick Peterson's on Devontae. Safety is on Dallas Goedert. And then you have a single safety up here up top. They're able to make the right play calling to make that decision for Jalen a lot easy. All right. Yeah, unfortunately, that one was called back. But that's just good play calling, man. Now, when I'm talking about there's some things we left out there on the table, boy, oh boy. When I'm talking about A.J. Brown should have had his first touchdown. All right. On this play, you have what's called a cover 3 coverage. Or Minnesota is playing a cover 3. All right. A.J. Brown has his man cooked. And this is where Jalen got to get better. All right. He got to make those throws. All right. As you're seeing, you basically got almost a 4-2 look. You got 2 DNs standing up, two linemen standing down, and then you got Kendricks, and then I think that's Jordan Hicks, if I'm correct. All right. Everybody bells. Linebackers stay in the middle. Now, look at this. Linebackers don't really react to Boston Scott. All right. Jalen stays in a pocket. He doesn't panic. He steps into his throw. He tried to put basically an over-the-shoulder pass. He just kind of overthrew that one to AJ. Because if he hit AJ in the right spot, either AJ is going to get a first down and he's out on the 5, or he's able to regain his control his body and fight for them that last 5 yards for a touchdown. So that's all up to like I said, Shane, Nick, and Jalen finally got it right now. What we got going on here? All right, we got Rico. What did you see regarding how the defense guarded Smith versus Brown? So Minnesota played a lot of. They switched up their zones a lot as well. They went from either cover 3, but a lot of vanilla defense as far as like a mostly zone. It was rare if they did go like man up. If they did, it was in a cover 1. Just because you got to have that single safety help. It's one of those they would rather, I guess, whoever got open to safety, at least they wasn't giving up anything deep. Where, hey, they did give up something deep, which brings me to, that one play, the Quez Watkins touchdown. Where you at? All right. On this defense, Jalen was able to basically understand the miscommunication that Minnesota was going through and took advantage of it. So we got Boston Scott in the backfield. I believe Zach Pascal, Dallas Goedert, and Stoll. And then that should be Devontae up there at the top. So what happens is you're playing in a sense, a quarters defense, meaning quarters or cover 4. Look how Patrick Peterson engages Devontae Smith and then releases him, but he's still bailing. All right. You can kind of see as well, this is the moment where Patrick Peterson was like, what the fuck? Because he already saw, as soon as he turned that head around. So what happened? If you're playing a cover 4 defense, right? All right. Like we said, linebackers basically have flats. So as we see right here, this linebacker or this DN is coming out with flat responsibility. All right. Kendricks is going to pass this man off in the zone. He lets whoever 58 is. My fault for not knowing who half of these Viking dudes is, but oh well. But Kendricks communicate, let him know to keep eye on Scott. He's in his zone. All right. Harrison Smith now basically has responsibility over Devontae Smith. What happened was here, whoever this safety was, at the very last minute, bit onto Dallas Goedert, which this is a great route ran by Quez. Quez bends his route out, and as soon as he gets behind the safety, brings it back inwards, just so Jalen can make that throw right there on the run. You know what? Them little catches look a little familiar. Badu look like D-Jax. He normally would catch it like that going backwards. But that's a hell of a throw, man. Once again, look at Jalen in the pocket. Hey, he's not nervous or anything. A good, clean pocket. He climbs up into the pocket to release a perfect pass to Quez Watkins to put 6 on the board. That giving both Jalen his first throwing touchdown of the season. Jordan, what's good, man? So the Eagles just doing everything right as far as setting themselves up for success. That goes on both sides of the field. Both, like I said, Nick, Shane, my hat's off to y'all fellas. All right. Same thing with Jonathan Gannon. He's played one hell of a game. Now let's switch the side. Let's switch the ball or switch over to the defensive side, and let's see how our defense had, kind of held up against Minnesota. So the biggest thing right here is a lot of people are like, he wasn't that, aggressive when it came to the blitz or anything like that. But if you look at what Gannon was doing, he was utilizing, his main focus was basically Justin Jefferson. So in this defensive set, you're going to see what's called it's a box style defense, meaning you have 1, 2, 3, and it should be 4 over there. All right. Hold on. I'm missing somebody. All right. It's a box style defense where you're basically going to have 4 defenders. All right. Normally it's the safety, your corner, your nickel, and then probably your linebacker to a certain aspect. And they're going to create a box. And that's their area of responsibility as far as like whoever enters that area. But it allows them to still play an area in an aspect of a coverage. And then I believe that's Bradbury down here. He's man up on Irv Smith. All right. So as we go, empty set by Minnesota. All right. Everybody bells. Bam. Bradbury's man up. All right. Marcus Epps is on. That's not Dalvin Cook. I think that's Madison. But if you look right here, you have if I had like the stuff from ESPN, bro, you have a box. All right. So these guys are basically bracketing. It don't look like it, but Thielen is covered. This man is covered. And then I think that is Jefferson is covered. And then as well, whoever 17 was is covered. All right. What happens is Kirk Cousins see Thielen about to run into the gap. He's thinking they're playing a cover 3, if anything, because what? Slay bailed. You got CD Deuce is bailing. Bradbury kind of bailed. And then now Marcus Epps is coming out to play the running back. He looks, he's thinking Thielen's wide open. But the best thing about a box style defense, Avonte is able to stay within that area of responsibility, pass off Justin Jefferson, because TJ Edwards is supposed to have that inside leverage anyway, and go up and snag that pick 6. So this is what I'm talking about as far as Jonathan Gannon taking advantage as far as the defense, playing to his personnel, trusting his personnel, all right, and playing to their strength. Avonte's playing off, so he's top. You got CD Deuce. He's basically these two at the top of the box, and you have TJ and Avonte. They're going to be the bottom. Look at this play at full speed. Look how quick it happens. Kurt already predetermined and just made a bad decision based off of what he thought the look was. Gannon is basically disguising the defenses to give you one look and do something completely different. And then the other one, everybody's talking about, well, Hassan is playing too much coverage, or he needs to be a blitz. He needs to be just straight QB killer. Yes, he does. But no. You do have to start actively using Hassan Reddick a lot more. But in this play right here, you're going to see how Gannon is able to, like I said, change the thought process of the quarterback. So in this one right here, this is the third. It was the third down that was batted down by Bradbury. All right. So you got Hassan, Sweat, Flex, BG, and Hargrave. So what you're seeing is a 5-man front, right? Third down, you're thinking blitz. All right. 5-man front. Basically, you're going to have BG and Hassan come off the edge, where if the communication was what they were doing, Cook or Madison knows that they got to help at least chip or pick up on the edge. All right. And then if you're going to see, everybody's in a what's called they're in a cover 1. All right. And what I mean by cover 1 is Bradbury is on Smith. Avonte is covering up 17. That boy Slay is covering Justin Jefferson. Now, you're thinking, if y'all paid attention to the diagram, cover 1, a single safety high, right? But meanwhile, we got Epps and CD Deuce up top. Well, what Gannon was doing was utilizing and double teaming. All right. So what you're going to have is Epps is technically your safety. I mean, Epps is coming down and he's manning up. But then CD Deuce is going to prop back and he's your single safety. All right. Why is he playing that far off? You're given a cover 2 look, or at least what people are appear to be is going to be a cover 2 look. And Kirk Cousins is probably thinking the middle or the gap and the outside zones are going to be open as far as out here. But once he comes up, he's able to play his man. He won't get caught up as far as like in a rub route or run into his own man to let one of these guys free up. He comes in at the last minute, waits for the play to develop. He sits there and disguises it. But look what happens. Both Hassan and BG bailed, and then TJ went to go play. So, in a sense, you have a 5-man front, and you're sending 4 to where now TJ had time. That should have been a sack. But that was a good read by Cook or by the running back to step in and pick that up. All right. But as well, BG took away that first read. The quick slant should always be the easiest throw. But I don't know what it is. Kirk Cousins got all this faith in Justin Jefferson. Slay had it locked up. And then you had CD Deuce over top to kind of help double team. All right. My fault. That's the wrong play. That's still the turnover. But that's by Slay. CDG seems like he's been quiet. Is that because he's just good in handling his job or nothing? I won't say he's been quiet. Both Epps and CDG have kind of like made a major impact. And you can almost throw Kayvon Wallace into that as well. Because, bro, you held a man who torched Green Bay for 3 touchdowns to 48 yards and no touchdown at all. So, and I think I have another play where I actually do show that. Where we at? Where's the other one? Screen. All right, here's another one with CD Deuce and them. All right, this is the one where Slay dropped like 50 picks in this game. Pay attention to the defense. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DBs. All right, and then as well, it looks like Patrick Johnson. That's I can't remember who 93 is. BG, and then I can't remember who that is. But then you got Kaiser and TJ. All right. You got tight end that's out wide. You have Thielen, Jefferson, and 17. As you look at this defense, right, what's going to happen is normally a linebacker would come out and play that tight end. But Slay is basically communicating, as you're seeing right here, pre-snap. Their responsibilities, they're all on the same page. Remember, we didn't get CDG until like towards the end of the preseason. So for these dudes to be communicating and developing that level of chemistry is actually impressive. As you're seeing here, what happens? Everybody kind of has what? A man coverage now. If you pay attention to it, CDG is going to jump down on this route and cover 17. Bradbury has Thielen. And then what did Gannon do? Bro, he sent Avante on the blitz. Avante from the nickel spot comes on the blitz. All right, look at this. Both linebackers and nickel corner, 4 linemen. People, please do the math. That's 4 against 5. All right. Now, if y'all paid attention to the notes, what type of coverage is this? That's a cover 0, meaning everybody is manned up. All right. Bradbury has Thielen. Epps is balling out, and he's covering down on Justin Jefferson. Slay is playing Irv Smith, and like I said, CDG's got 17 on his play right here. He's able to step up, play, and then because Cousins know he got Justin Jefferson on a safety, that route should be open because Slay looked like he's belling against Irv Smith. Irv looked like he's on the goal route, but what happens? just a missed timing route, and Slay dropped it. But that's a cover 0. All right. Avante coming straight from nickel, Kaiser, TJ, and TJ. This is one of those where I'd rather have a cover 0 at a good time, because look at what happened with the running back. He has no clue who to pick up. All right. Even if the guard right here, like Kaiser White's picked up, Avante's running free. So Kurt had no choice but to try and get rid of that ball, or he was going to take the sack. All right. So Gannon he's showing some pressure to a certain aspect, and as well, he's not being overly aggressive. Now, as we get ready, we got these boys from Minnesota. We get ready for this upcoming Sunday. The question is, how do we beat the Washington Commanders? And there's a couple of good, ways to handle it. We got I won't say enough tape, but we got some decent tape from the Jacksonville game, and then we got some tape from the Detroit game. All right. So, as me always, let's look at the film, man. Let's break down how can we defeat the Washington Commanders. All right. This first one we're going to look at is Detroit getting a sack on your boy Wentz. All right. So if you look right here, Detroit is in a 5-man set. All right. So if anything, you're thinking immediately, all right, they should be in cover 1. But what happens? Detroit sends 4, drops back. The DN Bells, 49 blitzes. As you see, this nose tackle, D tackles line up in 0 technique. All right. Meaning he's lining heads up on the center. So he's going to read off of how what the nose tackle does. If nose, as you see in his video, nose tackle is going to go up to the left through the A gap. They're both hitting the A gap, but the nose tackle is going to have the left A gap, which means that middle linebacker has the right A gap, because that's going to be unaccounted for, or it should be. All right. So as you see, what happens? Both of the left guard, left tackle, they're going to double team on Hutch. Running back got to pick up middle linebacker, where he barely does a good job, but that forces Jalen now to come out of the pocket. Jalen got to move his eyes downfield because the pressure is coming. Look at the flow. They double team, or they double press at the line, and then immediately, as soon as they see Carson is under duress, they go on attack. And then Hutch is able to get, I think Hutch had 3 sacks in the game. 2, if I'm correct, though, because I remember the Michael Jackson celebration. Another one I will want to look at is, where is it? Carson had a safety sack in his game as well. So if we look at this setup that Detroit did, you got basically both your DNs in a wide 9, meaning they're way out there outside. So if anything, your 2 outside tackles, their first step is going to have to be wide. You want that for a reason, because that opens up the gaps for your defenders. All right. If you let your guys block close, that allows double team, and that allows them to be close, to keep a clean pocket and aspect of it. But as you're going to see here, and you got your boy Rodrigo, Detroit is going to send 4. Look at the gaps that they created from that wide 9. All right. And then just by pressure alone, man, the DN that was going on, our linebacker that was going against the left tackle, was able to beat his man, get Carson. Carson didn't even feel this. He did not feel the defender coming down his neck. Get the ball out of his hand, and ball rolls out of bounds, making it a safety. So schemes like this we can do. We have the personnel to switch up between a 3-4 or a 4-3 as far as a defensive front. if you can widen out and get a wide 9 every once in a while, that helps open up the gaps for our linebackers when it comes to sending that blitz. All right. So we got to apply pressure when it comes to playing against these boys. And then as well, offense, we got to do good. Because, hey, Washington didn't do bad against Jacksonville. And I kind of like looked at this one play that Washington did that kind of makes me I won't say concerned, but I got to keep an eye out for it when we do play Washington, man. This one is against Jacksonville. Now, given Trevor Lawrence is not that versatile as a mobile quarterback, but who is head coach? Dougie P. So he's going to run a RPO right here. Pay attention to how Washington plays this. What's going to happen is pre-read, these D tackles are going to shift down and basically favor the run. You already got you already got 6 in the box. All right. So you're kind of looking at a 4-2 scheme, 6 in the box, at least favoring the run. But look what happens on the weak side as far as over here, how to utilize the player responsibility. All right. So remember, that's Allen and that's Payne and Montez Sweat. Or not Sweat. Sweat's over here. But Allen and Payne. So they're going to focus on basically stuffing down and playing the run. All right. As the plays snap, these boys basically shoot down the gap. Linebacker's going to have gap responsibility right here. But look what happens here. Defensive end comes off, immediately plays running back. What happens right after that? Linebacker has quarterback. Bro, our offense is predominantly RPO. So you have to find a way to counteract this when it comes to playing. How can I stop this as an offensive coordinator or be prepped for this? The only way you're going to do that is, hey, Washington is the bottom 5 in rush defense. Go into a single back formation. All right. You don't have to run the RPO and then wide zone it. All right. You can run up the middle, run wide. But this was kind of impressive for me from Washington. And they've done it several times against the Jaguars. All right. And then another thing as well that we got to pay attention to. If we look at Washington's depth chart, so Rico in the comments, are we worried about Washington's O-line and what Wentz is capable of? Wentz's leg, yes, but Washington's O-line, not really. So as y'all saw, Washington's injury report came out today, and it's kind of been upgraded. But if you pay attention to the depth chart, all right, let's look at their offense right now. Let me get. So if you look at the offense, Carson Wentz is going to be your starter, and you got Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick as your 1-2 back. All right. Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and Curtis Samuel as your 1-2-3. You got Logan Thomas, former Virginia Tech quarterback, converted to tight end, who actually kind of panned out as a decent tight end. Trey Turner, he just got questionable. And then, if I'm correct, they just put 2 of their linemen on IR. So you're about to have a bunch of new bodies now on the front as you're protecting Carson Wentz. So what that means is that O-line is not going to have that chemistry as far as communication, and there's going to be a lot of mixed blocking assignments. So I'm hoping Gannon takes advantage of that, utilizes that, and apply pressure to keep Carson from utilizing his legs. Because if Carson is able to get out the pocket, as much as we hate him, he can extend the play with his legs. All right. And then he's tied in Tua for yards thrown for the season. And then he has 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, which that's not bad, but bro, 7 touchdowns is still kind of a good number. All right. So if we can, like I said, find a way to apply pressure on Carson, we should be fine. Now, defense, thank God this boy was working out with somebody else and got hurt. Not wishing like injury on him, but if you look at their original front four, you got you would have had Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, and Darren Payne. That is a dangerous front four. And then don't forget, you got Jamin Davis outside as one of your linebackers. All right. So Washington has been hit with the blue tint bug. All right. So it's kind of playing in our favor as far as the timing as playing them guys early. So they're not at their top strength when it comes to their personnel. But like I said, it's going to have to be up to the play calling. If you look at what's going to happen, if you look at Washington and their offense, they utilize Curtis Samuel very, very almost in the same way he was utilized in not Pittsburgh, in Carolina. So there's one play in here because Curtis Samuel is going to be used everywhere as far as the where is it, bro? Oh, here it is. The flexibility they have as far as Curtis Samuel playing in the slot. So you're going to have this play right here where Curtis Samuel is going to be in motion and Carson's going to hand it off to him. I think Avante's going to – you can play man, but to a certain extent, you're going to have to play a zone just to cover that. Or as you see here, the safety's going to have to pick that responsibility up if they play that route. The biggest issue is you're going to have a lot of guys pulling. All right. Luckily, that safety was able to go in there and blow it up. But if you don't play that, if you don't read that play the right way, that has the edge right up the field. So you got how to utilize Curtis Samuel. And then there's another play where they're using a lot of teams like to use these tunnel screens, man. And then Washington's way of using the tunnel screen is actually very impressive. You have this play right here. And I'm sorry for the constantly clicking back and forth. All right. So this is going to look like a legit run play. All right. Curtis Samuel is what? From the outside, he's in motion. Carson fakes the handoff. As you're seeing, tight end bails out. Lineman release. Tight end is able to go up and get some yards. That line release, they pull, and look. That's a first down and more. So those are things we got to look out for. And then you got one more play that caught my eye from the Detroit game with Antonio Gibson. Yeah, Gibson really don't scare me, but this was a very interesting play call. I've never seen something like this at my level, and I probably haven't paid attention to it much in the league. But if you pay attention, this is going to be a RPO, basically, to number 41. Look how Gibson gets out of there and gets to a spot with a sense of urgency. So Carson fakes it. So literally, if you're thinking Gibson's coming up, he's probably blocking. But what is jagging? They're in a zone coverage, cover 3. No, they're cover 2. I'm wrong on that one. They're cover 2. Carson's able to put that one out there to Gibson, bro. He came straight from the backfield. You got Curtis Samuel and you got McKissick. Nah, that's Williams. They're on basically a mesh route. So they're crossing to see what's open from there. Carson's able to step out of the pocket, get that ball released, and put in a decent placement to give it to Antonio Gibson, man. So we can beat Washington. It's all going to come down to, like I said, the play calling. That's literally how this game is going to have to come down to. So like I said, Swoop Boys finally gave me a little podcast. All right. But like I said, all we're going to do is break down the X's and O's. We're going to go into the game. All right. Look at what we did wrong. Look what we did right. And then as well, certain trends that we can get into, or certain trends that I'm noticing. So we got the Washington Commanders coming up this Sunday. I think Philly's going to win. I don't think it's going to be close. It's probably going to be 35. I think Jonathan Gallon's going to put a goose egg up. The biggest thing I want to see is Jalen need to throw more touchdowns. We got to score in the second half. 2 games, no touchdowns. As far as no points. Yeah, we could have scored in the second half with that field goal, but it was blocked. But at the end of the day, you still got to be able to score on both ends of the on both halves. All right, because when we do play against these teams that can compete on both ends, or if we're trailing from behind, we got to be able to at least get into that end zone without having that, need. But hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate everybody hopping into the chat. Yeah, I see Gannon going to 0, man. But I see everybody at least hopping in. Like I said, this is just the first show. I'm gonna get with Tim. We gonna add some extra stuff, man. But hey, I'm gonna try and come with y'all with at least some knowledgeable information, some stuff y'all can actually look at and like understand, man. Just some good information y'all can let sit in y'all stomach and be like, as soon when you watch the next game, okay, the game look a little different, or you're gonna notice certain trends or something. Okay, so hey, the next time y'all see Eagles play cover 4, cover 2, just think of me, man. I already told y'all. All right, but like I said, I want to see a lot more cover 0. All right, but hey, man, that's it. I'm gonna let y'all go enjoy the rest of y'all day. This is Coach. I'm out.